Welcome to Kicked Back, a home for football fans that want to stay up to date on everything going on in the football world. Join Caroline, Liam, and some special guests along the way as they talk about all the trending news around leagues, players, teams, and much more. Now, all you gotta do is get comfortable and kick back, because we're about to get started. What's up, everyone? Episode 1 of Kicked Back, and I just feel so excited because football's our sport, guys, and we're here and we're doing it. And I'm pumped.
I'm going to put down my Starbucks here.
Yeah, what are you drinking, Was?
Just an Americano.
Just Americano.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Liam.
I'm ready for this. We've been talking about this for a long time. So here we are. And literally 2 days before the Premier League season starts.
Yeah.
So it's very good time. And I guess one day it starts tomorrow. Today's Thursday.
Yeah, for those in England, it starts in less than 24 hours.
Yeah, these short weeks really screw me up
Yeah.
sometimes. So
I love it. Every day is Monday for me for the last 2 years. It's just all a blur. But
Fair enough.
for everyone watching, maybe let's introduce ourselves for those of us who are new and the fans that don't know us yet. Waz, you and your friends built the 90th minute. So hello to everyone who's been following the 90th minute for years now.
Yeah.
An incredible brand. Maybe tell everyone what's going on. And
Yeah, there's a lot of changes going on, obviously, with you and Playmaker and Kick Back. It's I don't know how else to describe. I'm just excited for the future. You know, I'm excited to be producing content with the boys more consistently now, and Caroline and Liam. And
yes.
I think that's the goal, really, is just make quality content, footy content, right? So in whatever way we can.
Basically, we're living the dream.
Yeah. Essentially, yeah, it's crazy. You know, I've talked about how the 90th minute started. We started just my friend Lucas and Liam, and then we started 4 years ago on Lucas's kitchen table in his house, moved to a basement, and then a couple months, around August, our friend Greg joined us. He was just gonna be a producer in the background. I was like, how about you join us on the show? And he joins, and then a couple months later, I think around the pandemic, our friend Matt joins, and then just last year, our friend Brett joined. So we're all kind of just childhood friends from elementary, talking footy, creating FIFA content as well, the video game, obviously, and. Yeah, we've been doing it for 4 years now, and it's crazy how far we've come.
I know, and for all the young football fans watching this and young creators, these guys are such an incredible example of what can happen by just pursuing what you love. And maybe it might start as a little kitchen project, but here you are, and it's a big company.
Yeah, it's crazy, It's all comes down to consistency, honestly. If it wasn't for consistency, we wouldn't be here. And, yeah.
what was the video that took off?
Yeah.
What was the moment when you were like, oh, okay, this is something now?
It wasn't a video on YouTube. It was back in, I think.
Yeah, the TikTok.
It was on TikTok, right? That's when we started to go viral. That's kind of how we, grew a name for ourselves, is through TikTok.
Follow the 90th minute on TikTok.
Yes. 138.4 thousand now.
Nice.
Humble brag.
Yeah.
Small flags.
I have
so
20.
The first TikTok that went viral, we remember very clearly because it was our friend Liam, the ginger. Everyone knows him because of the way he looks. He's a funny looking lad. He basically said, no Premier League game will ever finish 9-0. And then Leicester defeats, I think, Southampton 9-1 or 9-0.
It was 9-0. Southampton lost 2 games 9-0 in 2 seasons.
Yeah, crazy. They lost you 9-0.
It was funny because the first time I saw you on TikTok before I knew who you were. And the reason I stopped and looked was because of your friend Liam.
There you go.
Because I'm 99% sure that I've played against him in soccer before. I was like, man, I recognize that guy so much. And
Probably.
I followed and I kept watching. I kind of picked up what you were doing.
Were you the better footballer?
100%.
All right, we'll get the second Liam in here in the hot seat, and we're going to expose our Liam to the truth.
He's in Scotland right now, so he won't be back for a couple more weeks now, but he's been out there enjoying Celtic matches and whatnot. So
Gives me time to warm up and prepare myself.
Oh, I mean,
this is perfect. Okay, Liam, tell everyone about you, your football background, why we're here right now.
Yeah, so I guess I've never been on any kind of football podcast or anything like this. This is my first time, but I grew up in England. I moved to Canada in 2010, which is kind of crazy. Just past 12 years, I think it's the 15th, something like that. So I'm a Bolton Wanderers fan. We used to be good, and then I left, and then it went terribly. So I just came here and played Tier 1 in England, and came here and just kind of took a step back and just started playing with my buddies and stuff like that. So just here for a good time and hopefully a long time too.
Yeah, no, that's the goal.
College. Liam's like, you remind me of my dad because my dad's one of those people that can name any single game and player and like a date, which I'm a massive football fan, but I don't have a brain like that. Like, I don't remember what I did 2 days ago, right? So when someone's like, do you remember this game on August 10th? And I'm like, actually, no, I don't. It could be the most prolific moment. I remember the moment, just not the date, where Liam, I feel like you're an encyclopedia.
Yeah, I don't know. In England, it's just a religion.
Oh,
There's teams everywhere. Like every single weekend I would go to a game. Like I would go and watch. I'd have a season ticket at Bolton, which when they were in the Premier League, I was sick, and that was like when Ronaldo and Rooney and Berbatov were all on gigs. Scholes were all on United, so I got to see them just absolutely destroy Bolton. It was brutal. and then when they weren't playing, I would go and watch Bury, which was like the local team for me.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Don't exist anymore, unfortunately.
Oh, wow,
but that's kind of how it is in England. Like you have a Premier League team, and then when they're not around, you go and support like the local team, and like it's just every single day of the week is football.
It's interesting you say that because a lot of people like in England will tell people from North America to kind of support your local, and you shouldn't cheer a Premier League team. But you say like how people in England have a Premier League team and they support their local.
I wouldn't say I ever supported Bury. I went.
Oh, okay, yeah. All right, that makes sense.
I just would go like. As a Bolton fan, you're not allowed to support Bury, but I know there was a lot of Bolton fans in the crowd. But it was just kind of a different environment because it's almost kind of like junior hockey to the NHL. It's a little bit more on the line, I guess, for like the lower end teams because they're professional, but they're like lower end guys. You know, they still got a lot to play for.
Is Bolton in the Manchester area?
Yeah, Greater Manchester.
Okay, because they have a few teams around there as well. Like they got Salford FC, I think.
Who?
Salford.
Salford.
Oh, there you go. Jeez, here we go. I'm so sorry.
So there's tons. Salford, Blackburn, Burnley, like.
Liam's like, who?
It's okay. The other day, my girlfriend, we were looking to go to Europe, and she said, Luton. I was like, what is Luton? She's like, this. And it's like Luton. I was like, oh, Luton?
Oh, my God.
I was like, geez.
Live, laugh, Luton.
Well, that's funny. Okay, so... We know Liam's team. How about your team? Tell everyone who you
support. Yeah, I guess you can say I'm pretty basic. I support Manchester United. But I see
shitstorm.
Yeah, it is.
Over there right now.
I honestly didn't start really supporting and watching football until like around 2012, and I kind of just like wanted a Premier League team, so I picked them. And I somehow ended up choosing them just before they started to go downhill. Just
good
like,
timing.
Yeah, before
bandwagon. That's bandwagon. Karma,
yeah. I basically endured the dark times of Man United. I've really witnessed one Premier League title, and that's when Ferguson retired. So, but honestly, Man United has actually been a big name around my family. Like my dad supported them. My family in Poland supports them, actually, interestingly enough. So it's kind of like just you kind of support based off what your family supports.
Yeah, I love it.
And like my family in Poland has a local team too that they support. And
who?
Apola FC.
Oh, okay.
Apola, yeah.
Oh, I think that's my dad. One of my dad's favorite teams.
Yeah, so
we need to get my dad on here. Yeah. I think everyone would love him eventually. In time. Quick background on me, guys. Played a little bit growing up. I get nervous talking about myself. U17 Canadian national team, went to a World Cup, played in a World Cup, then went on to play soccer in the U.S., got my education. A long story short, I had 3 knee injuries, basically 3 big surgeries, had to hang up the cleats, then went on to be on TV here in Canada talking about sports. And now I'm like, let's be a football content creator. Let's do the damn thing. I want to be known as the football girl, and we're here doing the damn thing. So I'm pumped to be here, and I played the sport. I love the sport. I'm actually like borderline like clinically obsessed, which was definitely when I was younger. I started playing when I was 10, and when I like first saw the game, I remember my dad was training for marathons, so he was running around the track, and I had nothing better to do as a kid, so I'd go with him to the track and just watch him. And I remember inside the track, there was a soccer or a football match happening. And I was like, Dad, what is this sport? And naturally, he was so happy because he played in like a Division II professional team in Poland. So he was like, oh my gosh, my daughter loves football. Like, we got to get her into it. And then I started playing at 10, and I picked it up really quick. Within 4 years, I was on the provincial team. And I was a nut job. Anytime I had free time, I was juggling a football. I had one of those, like, football trainers. You know those
I think you mentioned that once.
Yeah, like the leash that's retractable. Like you kick the ball and it comes back to you.
Yeah.
I brought those to school. my first high school dance that I ever went to, get ready for this, I wore a Brazil jersey. I wore, on top of the Brazil jersey, a Brazil jacket. So just imagine the neon on neon. I wore white jeans and red K-Swiss shoes, and I thought I was
styling.
That's I like it though. Yeah.
Football fan in the world. In retrospect, I probably wouldn't change my outfit. I'm very proud of that moment. But just, like definitely obsessed. So what we're doing here is not even a job. It's just fun. It's
fun.
Life.
It's
life,
I've been
right?
kind of
It's
doing
life
it.
for us.
I've been
It's in
doing
our
it for like
blood.
4 years now. So
The team I supported, and I will always support till the day I die, is AC Milan. Growing up, Serie A was the best league.
it was.
world.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And anyone who wants to argue the Gen Z now, like everyone knows the Prem, but growing up, Serie A was like the hottest league. You always had Inter and Juve and AC Milan, and then Juve got relegated, which was the best day of my life. But cheaters. But watching like Crespo, Shevchenko, Kaká, Inzaghi, Maldini, Cafu, Dida, like who am I missing on that team?
Nesta, the big one.
Gattuso. Gattuso was
Sedorov, not Sedorov. What was his name?
Sadorf?
I'm getting like
Stam.
was Salford.
Yep, Stan.
So like
Cafu.
Cafu. Watching that team play was iconic. My MSN name at the time was Kaká plus Crespo plus Shevchenko equals heart emoji in a soccer and a football.
Was it a red and black for AC Milan?
Honest to God, I'm pretty sure it was. I stitched logos to my outfits.
Oh my goodness.
It was like, guys, I'm telling you, borderline psychotic. But till this day, I won't cheer for, like, everyone's like, who's your Prem team? And I can't do that because of Champions
Which is fine. Which is good.
I'm
Yeah.
a one-team woman.
I'm like that too, where people ask me, it's like, oh, well, Bolton aren't in the Premier League anymore. Like, who's your team? I was like, nobody.
work like that.
No, it's not how
doesn't work
it's
like
not how I roll.
And like, I slightly judge you if you're a person like my dad. My dad growing up would be like Barcelona, and then he'd be like Liverpool. I'm like, you can't do that. You can't pick the best
Yeah.
teams in every league and jump on the bandwagon. And then what do you do in Champions League?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
difficult.
Like, what do you do?
You get to a point where it's like, well, they're all the best teams.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
you're a
you know,
Villarreal
I'm a United supporter, so I got to deal with the Europa League. So it's like, who do you cheer in the Champions League? I don't really cheer for anyone, but I'll support the players that are kind of connected to me, like a Lewandowski or Alphonso Davies,
Yes.
you know?
Yes, that's what I'll do
Yeah.
too, because
Yeah.
I think we can all agree on that. We love watching, so I will support players that I like, and you named two players that I love, Lewandowski and Davies, which obviously, until a few weeks ago, Lewandowski was with Bayern. But I will watch Bayern, and because I love those guys so much, I'll support them. But never if they were playing AC Milan. Like, that's where I draw the line.
That's kind of like me too. Like Bolton, it's been hard to watch them the last few years. I actually just found a way to do it, which is nice. So I think I've just cheered for like English players.
Yeah.
Like Harry
Yeah,
Kane,
it's-
I love Harry Kane.
Yeah.
And like I kind of have a bit of a soft spot for Tottenham because they've had English players. Yeah, and they never win, just like Bolton. So it's perfect, really. So I think that's kind of how I roll to it. And in like the Champions League, like there's so many Canadian players now, like Davies, like pretty sure Laren will be in there again this year.
I don't know if
Buchanan.
Club Brugge is in there, but
They're in Europe in some
Yeah,
form, so
exactly.
that's how I'll watch them that way. And then even there was that guy the other day who, funnily enough, went to Luton from Calgary.
I don't remember.
Pep. I can't remember.
I don't
his
know,
name.
but yeah, a player from the CPL.
Yeah, which is cool. So it's just good to see that like players are actually going to be watchable now from Canada, I guess.
Which like is perfect because I don't think people who don't watch football, like who aren't Canadian or maybe even North American, don't realize the talent that we have on the squad going to Qatar. I know experience might be a factor for this team because this is the first World Cup
sure.
in how many years? What was it?
Yeah, something like that.
37 years?
82, wasn't it, the last
So
one?
86,
I
I
understand,
think.
Yeah.
I understand experience, but sometimes the talent and like these guys being so hungry and so young and maybe not everyone knowing about their individual skill set will help them do something special. I'm pumped, and I think that if Canada has a solid run, let's say get out of that group stage, you're going to start seeing these names in major teams, which I think is a major possibility. Buchanan, even Larea.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
Richie
he'll be in the
Larea.
Premier League
Yeah,
this season
honest
too
to
with
God,
Nottingham
I'm
Forest.
so freaking excited. This is going to be huge for Canada. I'm going to call this now because I've said Canada's like the dark horse. And I'm not just saying that because I'm Canadian. I think that they're going to give people like a nice surprise. And not me because I'm calling it. But I think
world?
so. The world.
It's
yes.
funny. I've seen other people be like, you know what, like Canada might not be as bad as assumed, I guess. Like, we obviously know what this team's level is at. And, like, do we expect them to win the World Cup? No.
Yeah.
But I think they can do really well. And I think they're in a very interesting group. Like, Belgium, like, I don't know what they'll be. They still have world-class players, but, like, Hazard just doesn't play football anymore. And, like,
we'll see. I think he'll play more in Madrid this season, right?
Maybe, yeah. But even if he does, it's still only 2 months before the World Cup.
That's true.
Like, it's a short turnaround. Like, Lukaku's going back to Inter, so we'll see if he regains his form.
I thought he played well at the Euros, though, for Belgium. I thought he turned,
Yeah.
So.
Who's the other one? Croatia, like, they're pretty old, but, like, Modric is sick.
Unreal.
So,
Never
and
bet
then
against him.
Morocco's, like, an interesting team because on African terms, they're actually really good and they have some talent. Like, but I don't know. Like, they don't play European teams, so it's hard to tell.
Oh,
so,
it's the same thing in Canada.
Yeah,
Canada doesn't play European
we'll get a
teams.
good idea in the next couple of weeks when they play. Only play Uruguay and then somebody else in
and
Austria.
Qatar.
Right? Qatar, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm actually super curious to see what Qatar's like because I have no idea, to be honest.
I know they have a lot of players that are like of Spanish heritage and whatnot.
Yeah.
So it's like they just found anyone who can maybe represent Qatar.
It was funny. I remember in the 2006 World Cup, Trinidad and Tobago were in England's group, and that was the first time they had been to the World Cup. And they had a midfielder on there, and his name was like, I can't remember. It was like, his first name was like Chris or something like that. And he was definitely not from Trinidad. And he like played in England. He's like, yeah, like it just kind of happened. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's like, you are not from Trinidad and Tobago.
Honestly, now that you bring up England, I've always supported England in the World Cup and the Euro Cup because growing up, you mentioned Scholes, Giggs, like Gerrard, Lampard, Terry, who else? Peter Crouch. Do we remember Peter Crouch?
I love it.
Right?
Yeah, I love
Real
Peter Crouch.
Ferdinand.
Beckham, my number one. Like all these guys. So whenever England would go into a tournament, I'd always say they're the best on paper, but somehow, Liam, and I say this respectfully,
they're terrible.
they effed it up.
Yeah.
And I always remember sitting there and being like, how did that happen? I always felt it came down to like goalkeeping. You guys had like really suspect goalkeepers.
Who's your I remember like,
Rob
2010 World
Rob
Cup.
Green, Paul Robinson, David. Like we probably like Joe Hart. I always thought was a little underrated.
Yeah.
I thought he was good, but like England probably haven't had a great goalie since David Seaman.
Yes.
Who's the goalie now? Pickford. I think Pickford is an interesting goalie. Here's my hot take. I know we mentioned this, but I'm going to say it right now.
Give it to us.
Jordan Pickford was the best goalie at the 2020 Euros, and Donnarumma should not have won. Jordan Pickford didn't concede a goal until the semi-finals, and it was like 35-yard free kick from Damsgaard, and then he conceded in the final, and he also made a save on Jorginho in the shootout. He had more saves than Donnarumma in the whole tournament, and on top of that, didn't concede a goal from open play. Because both the goals were a free kick or a corner. So that's my
Not
hot
wrong.
This is the encyclopedia.
Yeah.
There you go. I will stand by that. I don't even like Jordan Pickford that much, but
He did have a good turn, man.
He deserved that, and England should have won.
We're
but
going to ask the
here we
football
are.
fans what they think.
That'll be my hot take. Clip that.
I love that hot take, and I have many hot takes, and this is what I'm excited about for this show, is because we're finally in a safe space before this goes up on this goes up
And then
on
we turn
YouTube
off
and
the
TikTok,
comments.
and then the messy fans come at you, and you're scared and you don't leave your room. But quickly going off England, I actually think that they're going to do a solid job at this World Cup, and I'm really rooting for them.
I don't know.
I
really hope, and I think the one thing that's going to benefit them the most is that it's mid-season. So it's like guys are just kind of in form, which could help everybody. But I don't know.
It's not going home.
This is trauma.
I don't know.
Talking.
They've just had such an easy way to do it the last 2 times around and have failed.
Well,
and I believe, I think they'll do well. I think on paper they probably have top 3 team of the tournament.
They gotta complete the English double. The Euros got won by the women's team, and now the men's got to win the English double.
That was cool.
I think that USA England will be a sick game to watch.
I hope they smack them.
I'm on the fence about that because I always cheer for obviously teams to make MLS better. So if the US does well, if Canada does well, if Mexico does well, this is good for MLS here in North America. So I don't want them to I actually want the US to do really well, but I want England to, I don't know, I'm going to watch that game very intently. And then Argentina and Poland.
Yeah.
I think Lewandowski versus Messi is going to be an effing showdown, and I'm pumped for it. And I feel like Lewandowski and Messi are on their last leg here. Like, this could be their last World Cup. So
Probably,
I feel like
I
they're
think
going to
so,
ball
yeah.
out. My hot take is
so.
that Argentina is going to win the World Cup.
I think there's a pretty good chance. They
you.
finally have a goalie. Like, I feel like they've never had a really good goalie, and like Martinez is really strong.
I thought Romero was good at the 2014 World Cup.
Yeah, he was good, but I also feel like he wasn't as good as Martinez. Like, Martinez won that Copa America.
True.
Like, him and Messi kind of run the show.
Do you think I'm crazy?
For Argentina to win the World Cup? I think it's going to... I think, honestly, this is the best opportunity for it to be a South American team. I think it's either them or Brazil.
Here's what I'm thinking. I don't think they're as much of outsiders as people think. They are not favorites. People don't consider Argentina right now in the running, and I actually think that takes a load of pressure off of them. Mm-hmm. They have experienced players. Di Maria used to be one of my favorite players. Obviously, Messi, one of the greatest footballers to ever play the game, if not the best. And then you got their coach, who came in, helped them win. They ended their national trophy drought, happened to win the Copa America in 2021. I feel like this group knows their potential and is hungry, and I think it can do something special. I also think, like I said, this could be Messi's last World Cup. Sorry, Messi fans. If Messi wins the World Cup, he will solidify himself, and there will be no argument that he is the greatest footballer to ever play the game. And this is coming from a massive Cristiano Ronaldo fan. So I'm just like, I think Argentina is going to bring it. They have experience. They have a really good coach that I feel like the players are responding well to. We've seen that. And I think that they're going to do something.
I absolutely hope so. I want to see Messi win the World Cup. That'd be beautiful.
How iconic would that be?
Beautiful, because there's always that little video on TikTok that goes around of Messi staring at the World Cup, and you just tell he just like
he wants it, man.
And it's the one trophy he hasn't won is the World Cup.
Honestly, and I know that the argument's always Maradona, right? And I agree. Like, he was, in my opinion, right now, the greatest to ever play, just because what he did on an international stage, and then even with Napoli. But if Messi goes and wins in Qatar, man, and what a time to be alive. Like, we'd witness that.
That would be big. Like, the most unique World Cup, like, would have been in the winter. Like, the one before it, like, kicks off to, like, 48 and Messi finally gets it done. There is a way Messi and Ronaldo could meet in the final.
That'd be sick. For me, like, I know it's cringe, but you say that's the last dance. That'd be perfect.
It would be.
Nothing's cringe. You're in a safe space, Woz, until we go on socials.
That would be a fairy tale ending for both of them, because I think they'll both be dumb. I don't even know how old they both are. They're old enough to be the last one, that's for sure.
Would there be a more iconic stage, and I'm not just saying football, in sports overall, than Messi and Ronaldo meeting in a World Cup final?
No, I don't think so.
Possibly their last World Cup.
No.
I get chills. So. I have chills right now thinking I'd probably sit there and cry.
I don't know if Portugal's that strong. I mean, it's tough.
They only won. When did they win the Euros? 2016. They have a pretty good team, which was garbage too.
Sorry, Portugal fans, but that was the most garbage way. And don't at me, but I stand by this.
I agree.
For a team to win the Euro, they did not win a group game. They were the wild card, and that was the most bullshit rule I've ever heard. The wild card.
I don't like it either.
Facts. And then they beat F-word Poland.
Yeah. And penalties. Which
was, honest to God, I'm still mad at Poland for. I hold a grudge till this day. But what a way to win the Euro.
There was also a stat, and I think this is right. They might have beat Wales in a different way, but I didn't hear what he said. What did you say?
Common Caroline W.
I appreciate you because I know I'm going to get,
You're not wrong. I've also argued the way. I mean, credit to Portugal for winning Euros in 2016, but it was kind of BS. I mean, sorry, Portuguese supporters. You didn't win a group stage game. You got third place in your group. How many third place group teams win the Euros? None.
Literally the first one ever.
And then when they won, the flex that fans had, like, honest to God, I did not understand. And I'm like, of course, if I was Portuguese or if that was Poland, I'd rep it hard. But you guys you guys shouldn't have got out of the group stage. Like, I just mentally till this day cannot get past what happened. And you gotta give them credit. They did it. Sometimes,
I know we're going back. Like, sure. If you look back to Euro 2016, I think France even had a tougher route to the final. They had to take on the likes of Germany, and I can't forget who else.
I got it all here. Give me 2 seconds. I wanted to fact check myself before I said anything.
Sidebar, France is going to be elite.
Yeah, well, I mean, France is always elite. But the thing is, since we're talking about Euro 2016, also the way they won it, Adair just taking a strike out of nowhere and getting it past Lloris. I was like, what in the world is happening here? And then he just never he just disappeared. He showed up. You never heard about Adair after again.
So, on the way to the finals, by the way, Portugal were in a group with Hungary and Iceland, who both finished above them, which isn't good for Portugal. Did I say? Yeah, I said Portugal. Portugal only won one game within 90 minutes in that whole tournament, and it was the semi-finals against Wales. And I'm glad the Welsh didn't win. Could you imagine Wales make it to a Euro final before England, after England get knocked out by Iceland in that?
What would happen to your heart rate?
I probably just turn off everything.
Yeah.
They're not even like a football. Well, they're becoming more of a football country. By the time that was like the first tournament they've been to in a long time. So like the first one they go to, they make it to a semi-final. Like
before England.
Yeah.
We don't see Liam for the next 3 months. Or like checking in on him. He's in a dark room.
And now, France played Germany. You were right, but that one just never will sit right with me. I think that's the one that's like, that was like the first time they had changed the format, because I think they added more teams.
Yeah, it was usually more of like, I think it was a 24-man team tournament, I think.
Yeah, that's why there was those third place teams. Like, I say just expand it to 32.
Honestly. Just
make it like a mini World Cup kind of thing. So here's a question, which I've had this debate, and I don't really know which way I lie. I think I lie on one side than the other, but what do you think is harder to win?
Oh, gosh.
As a top team, like, the Euros or the World Cup?
That's a tough one.
I think I lean World Cup, but I don't think it's like that far apart.
The Euros, you do kind of, because people would make the argument that the European teams are stronger than the South Americans ones, but like
that's the thing too.
Yeah,
because you go into it and you're like, okay, the South American teams that are really good are always Brazil and Argentina,
right?
And then you probably get one or two, like the 4 teams that go are all good.
Yeah.
But then you go to the African teams, it's okay, they probably have one.
Yeah.
Probably the best team is going to do well and they'll make it to the knockouts and probably get eliminated.
Yeah.
And then Australia isn't much in the World Cup. The Asian teams like South Korea and Japan have had runs, but they're not consistent. Like, you look at it and it's just European teams over and over again who are like going into this tournament. And yes, Brazil and Argentina are great, but
this is a great
it's an interesting question, because you would obviously assume World Cup, and I probably think it is the World Cup.
Okay.
But I don't think it's that far apart.
I think perfectly said. I'm going to go World Cup by a slight margin, just because I feel like the expectations and the pressures of the World Cup being the most watched tournament around the world, and maybe the biggest honor for someone to attend and represent your country, that's got to be the biggest trophy you could win. So I would say from a pressure and expectation and an honor.
I was thinking that too.
World Cup.
Yeah.
But I have to agree, like the European teams, I feel like there is more, I want to say like quick competition. Like the games get good quicker.
Quicker, yeah.
But I think by slight margin, just because of what I said, I'd say World Cup.
Yeah, I think it's hard to, you have to go with the World Cup, I feel. I mean, European teams may have a slightly better competition, but yeah, I like you said, like the pressure, the stakes are high for the World Cup. The intensity, it's
interesting. Like, I think the Euros is going to get better now.
Agree.
And I think having more teams in it is a good thing. Like, people see it as like diluting the competition. I think right now, perhaps yes, but I think in the long run, it's only going to benefit it. However, I do not think the World Cup 48 teams is a good idea. We'll get to that one another day. But I think I never even considered the points that you guys made of like the prestige of the World Cup and like what it truly means to the game. Like,
it's the most watched event in sports.
Yeah,
right?
Not many people talk about like a goal that happened in the World Cup, but everybody remembers Robin van Persie's diving header or Maradona's
I didn't even see that goal live, and I remember.
Yeah, the hand of God.
How did you feel about that, by the way?
Well, the funny thing is like that goal Maradona scored, that's like considered the greatest goal ever, was in that same game.
Yes.
And everyone just kind of seems to forget the hand of God. It's like, no. That was a cheating moment. I can't do it.
An absolute baller. To me, like the most iconic moment we'll ever see.
The hand of God?
Yeah. The hand of God or the goal?
The hand of God.
yeah. It's like,
and he admitted it, which is like, he's just such a baller.
Well, for me, I guess I see what you mean, but like for me, like I didn't see that moment live, so it's hard. Like
Were you born yet? No,
I was 96. Are you kidding me?
Sorry.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Same with him.
Are you Gen Z?
I've seen it.
I didn't think I'm like I prefer to be a millennial.
We're deaf. How old are you?
96.
Wow.
How old did you think I was? Did you think I saw that moment live?
Oh my God. No, because I didn't see that moment live either.
Like,
so I'm a millennial among basically Gen Zs.
Yeah, I mean, I like to think I'm a millennial.
Old.
I don't like to think I'm Gen Z. Don't put me
I
in
don't
that
know.
bracket.
I'm 26. That's what I am. I don't know what a Gen Z or millennial.
Are you actually 26?
I just turned 26 in April.
Oh, I thought you were
We're really into know each other on this show.
Are you a Taurus?
I am a Taurus. April 24th every year.
Love it.
Even on leap years.
Scorpio.
Yeah.
Scorpio. But I'm 31. I'm turning 31 this year. I'm old. Okay, but now, since we're on the question, Pep said in an interview, and this killed me, and I just love, like, obviously Pep and Klopp drama, because these guys give me, like, my football entertainment. He says that it's harder to win the Prem than it is to win the Champions League. Now, I think he said that because obviously he's having a hard time winning the Champions League with City. Mm-hmm. But what do you guys think about that? We obviously know the Prem probably has the highest amount of competition among different teams than any other league right now. If you don't agree with that, you're crazy.
Yeah.
But the Champions League is the Champions League.
The best of the best.
Yes.
I mean, that's really tough for, I don't know, I don't know why Pep says that, because Man City have struggled to win it for the past, like, 5-6 seasons. I don't get it.
That's what I was thinking, too. Like, he's never won it. And was he have 6 Premier Leagues?
Why is it tough for you, but Real Madrid wins it 3 times in a row, right? Like, and now 4th
the goats
in the last couple of years.
I don't know. I think the Champions League is harder.
Yes.
But I think Liverpool. It's funny because the teams that are winning the Champions League are going far are Liverpool and City. Like obviously City haven't won, but it's like Madrid, City, and Madrid. Mm-hmm. Liverpool, sorry, and City and Liverpool are competing for the title. So I kind of get what he's saying a little bit, but like, how can you say something's harder to win when you've won it 5 times and not won the other thing once?
Because I feel like, and I love Pep, so this is no disrespect.
I think he gets really disrespected, if anything. Yeah.
I'm eager to see what this Prem season looks like for him and Champions League and Haaland. Like, I think right now football fans are a little too hard on Haaland. He needs time to freaking adjust.
It was kind of funny though, sorry, quickly, how that narrative changed so quickly from like Nunez is garbage and all this because he missed it, and then Haaland misses the one in the Community Shield. It's like,
People
oh my God, Haaland is
time.
garbage. Yeah, 100%.
Wait, Haaland or Nunez?
Both.
Oh, yeah.
I honest to God, both. But yeah, I'm interested to see. But whenever I heard that, I was like, Champions League's definitely, in my opinion, harder. You have the best of the best clubs. Mm-hmm. And
it's got to be. Like, I mean, look at from I'm a United fan. We haven't made a semifinal since Ferguson. Like,
didn't you guys just have your worst year ever? Like in the history of
arguably
Premier League history, at least, right?
No, because the year they had David Moyes to finish 8th.
But what was the points?
That's the thing, right? I think there's a bit of a difference, actually. I'm surprised. So what they finished, I don't know.
Waz, what do you think about the Ronaldo drama? I love how we're just going topic to topic. This is so fluid. This is my dream right now.
I don't like it. I think he should just leave the club, honestly. I don't like how there's so much drama. Like, I don't know. Some of my friends might say I have a bit of a Ronaldo agenda. Like, I just...
Okay, what don't you like? Like, what don't you... Because you told me off camera, I'm going to kind of throw you under, is that you don't like Ronaldo.
Well, I like him as an athlete, but I don't like the drama that he's been creating with, him wanting just to go play. It feels like he just cares about personal glory. He doesn't care about the club. Okay. I'm going to get slandered for that, I know.
No, you're not. No, you're not. It's your opinion.
I think it's fair. So how badly do you think this damages his legacy? Maybe not as a whole, but at Manchester United.
I don't think as much, because I think it was Gary Neville who mentioned it, because in 20 years, people won't remember this. They'll remember the goals and the Champions Leagues. Not too much, honestly. But in the current moment, it's like, it is a bit of a dagger in his reputation at the moment. Like, no club wants to seem to sign him because of his wages. And, you see kind of the body language at times recently, especially during the last preseason game, and supposedly he left the match early, and Ten Hag said that was unacceptable. And it feels like there's been a lot of disrespect,
Okay, now devil's advocate. This is not what I'm saying. I'm just going to ask the question. Do you think for a player like Cristiano Ronaldo, which is, again, probably on his last leg, last World Cup, maybe not because the guy's a unit, 37 years old?
I think so.
Do you think he has the right, with the career that he's built and as prolific as he is, with the skill set that he has as in getting to become an old man, to be selfish? And to want to be on a team that maybe gives him an opportunity to do something special. Because clearly last season, no offense, it wasn't Man U.
No, like, I don't know. There's even people have found ways to blame Ronaldo for the season that they just had. Like, oh, the reason why United were so poor is because of Ronaldo. And, like, even though he scored all the goals, they're like, oh, but because you had to play through Ronaldo, that's kind of why. And, it's been a headache. Like, even, like, prior to him coming, United had a better season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then he comes, and then they finish sixth. Like, what changes?
I don't really know what to think, to be honest. Like,
Yeah,
I think that, like, having Ronaldo as the player obviously helps teams. Yeah. Like, I think he's still obviously world class, but if he doesn't want to be a leader on a team that needs leadership, then do you really want him? But then again, like you said, like, nobody else wants him. Like, Atletico Madrid fans literally made flags and signs being like, we don't want him.
Bayern don't want him.
Chelsea, I think Chelsea were the only team that was kind of interested.
Yes.
But
I was praying that he'd go to Bayern. He's
That'd
played
be sweet.
for 4 different teams and 4 different leagues in his career. Like, the versatility of this man is not normal. Mm-hmm. If he went and he did it in Bayern and I don't know, I just thought even from a Bayern Munich perspective to say, okay, see you Lewandowski and then freaking acquire Cristiano Ronaldo, I'd be like, that would be elite legendary status. I would buy that jersey tomorrow.
I find it funny if Ronaldo joined Bayern. That's the one year they don't win the league.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't like how it should be an optimistic time for Man United with Ten Hag coming in. And if anything, it's been kind of surrounded around negativity because of Ronaldo. And like, he apparently had to deal with some personal issues. That's why he couldn't attend preseason. And I don't know.
Like, I know.
And now, like, he's probably going to stay, I feel, for the better part. I don't know if he's actually going to leave.
Are you optimistic? Like, how do you feel? Like we said, the season starts for you guys on Sunday, I think, right?
Yeah, or Saturday.
Yeah, whatever it is, this weekend. How do you feel? Like, I mean, Manchester United, they're not going to win the league.
No, but
welcome back therapy. Tell us how you feel.
I'm excited to see what Ten Hag can bring to the table, and I think he can bring out the most in some of these young players, especially. Yeah. I think the squad is excited. They're ready to start running, especially this is kind of also Anthony Martial's last run of the can as, I think, starting striker for United, because I don't think they're going to sign anyone else as a striker. So. They're all been. I don't like how they've been all in for De Jong, kind of putting all their eggs in one basket, while someone like Renato Sanchez is going to PSG for like 15, 17 million. Like, you could have got him. He could have done a similar role.
I think the De Jong thing is really interesting in the sense of, like, it shows where Manchester United are as a club right now. Because 10 years ago, De Jong would have been there within a week.
Probably.
They would have had him. But they have dragged this on for almost 2 months.
Yeah.
And it's almost like a pride thing now where it's like, well, we can't just, like, not keep pursuing him. So are they just going to keep dragging this out until it happens? Or I feel like, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I feel like it's not going to end until the deadline comes and goes. And it's like, okay, well, now we can't pursue him.
Here's the thing I will say about Manchester United, and I feel like this could apply to any team in any sport. Growing up, I don't know if you guys remember, I'm sure you guys do, Holland, the Netherlands, was one of my favorite teams to watch because they played, like, their passing.
They're beautiful. Yeah.
Their passing, and I love sitting beside 2 Gen Z guys, and they know exactly what I'm saying. I know I'm dating myself, but they know what I'm saying. Their passing was unreal. It was such a joy to watch, but they, at points in time, wouldn't do well in tournaments because they always had drama in the locker room. And I said it with a big accent, in the locker room. So I think that if there's drama in a team, no matter how many superstars you have and no matter how good that team can be, it's very unfortunate. It's like it might automatically be a flat line. And either Ronaldo needs to, like, get it together and say, I am, Ronaldo and I'm a leader and I need to put my shit aside and show up. Or, unfortunately, you guys got to...
Like, there's, I don't know, it's so strange. Like, he just cares about playing in the Champions League, which I get, he's Mr. Champions League, but, like...
Definitely wants to hold on to his records.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where sometimes I'm like, if we're trying to be slightly empathetic, and you are one of the greatest of all time, you want to be the greatest of all time, has he earned the right to be a little selfish? Does he always have to care about what everyone else thinks? Because when it comes time to players being traded or whatnot, teams don't care. Managers don't care. It's just a player who has a paycheck, right? So do these players at a certain point in time, like Mo Salah, there was the big controversial contract in terms of money controversy.
Honestly,
does he have the right to ask for more?
Honestly, if Ronaldo is kind of all about personal motivation and all this, I would probably look at this as motivation with all these clubs kind of rejecting him and saying, wait, we don't want you. Ronaldo, then go and show people why you're still valuable and that you can still play at a high level at this age. Show why you shouldn't be rejected. Show why. Do it in the Premier League.
Talk to him, Was.
As simple as that. Prove people wrong.
We're going to clip this and send it to Ronaldo.
It's simple as that.
I think another thing with Ronaldo, too, is like, yes, I understand like he wants to do all that stuff in the Champions League, but also when you signed for Manchester United last season, what did you expect?
True.
Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, were you just hoping to finish fourth every year and make Champions League? Like, was that the goal? Like, honestly, like, it just kind of seems weird. Like, yes, they made a lot of signings last year. Like, Sancho came in.
Varane was another big signing.
Yeah, and like,
there's a few injuries, but
I just don't know what the expectations were for him to be there. Like, I don't know. He should have been more realistic about it. And like, the comeback story of him being back with United was unreal. Like,
that was beautiful.
I actually thought that was really cool.
One of my favorite moments in recent time, honestly.
I just don't know what he thought was going to happen.
That's what I will say. If I were Ronaldo, and I had the opportunity to go back to a club like Manchester United with his career and how it started, I would eat dirt. I'd eat dirt to like make sure fans felt respected by me, the players felt respected. And this is I'm like one of the biggest Ronaldo fans, so this is no slight to him. It's just me telling it how it is. Like the whole cell phone incident with a fan.
Yeah, true.
Him making certain expressions on the pitch when he's not happy with a moment. I don't like.
It's very petty.
I don't like when big superstars in any sport have moments of like being dramatic. I don't like that. That's never been my personality type. So I just kind of want him to be like, I'm Ronaldo, I'm a leader. If this isn't getting done, I'm doing it. That type of MO. And I don't think we saw that from him. And I'm just, the way he started his career then to now coming back to Manchester United, I swear I would have ate dirt if I was him and just done what I needed to do.
Yeah.
To maybe not win everything, but
and just
allow critics to be saying what they're saying. I wouldn't personally allow that to happen.
And just with the way things have gone recently, Ronaldo, it's just like left a sour taste in my mouth in some United. It's like, you're a United legend, obviously, but just recently, it's like some United fans think, sure, he can go, leave, and he deserves it. He's still a legend in my eyes, but like for me, it's just like I want to see United succeed, and if that means Ronaldo has to go, he has to go.
I think one interesting thing to think about is, he was very close to signing for Manchester City.
Yeah, he was.
Very close, right before he signed for United. How interesting would that have been if he had gone? Like, Haaland wouldn't be at Manchester City right now. Like, would Haaland be at what they call Bayern Munich?
Yeah.
Like,
Real Madrid interested?
Mane still with Liverpool?
Yeah.
Like, or does Mane go to, like, Madrid or something? Like, I don't know. Like, it's such a...
The question also is, if Ronaldo went to City... would have United had a disaster roller coaster season like they had? Like, I don't know.
I think it would have been worse.
You think so? Wow, okay.
Well, who would the striker have been?
Anthony, probably Martial, right?
But he was already gone, wasn't he?
No, he was still there. He went on loan in January.
Right out. Oh, he went January?
Yeah, so I don't know.
I don't know. I just don't think anything that happened at the United last season was Ronaldo's fault. I think it was just a bad situation. I think the expectations of the fans for that team are so high, and they rightfully so. Like, they're the team that we all know was, like, whatever we want to call them, but it's just not there anymore. And to like blame it on Ronaldo, I just don't think is fair.
I agree.
But also, Ronaldo should have realized what was happening, and then why was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer there for so long? Like, you're Manchester United, like, get a good manager in. Like, it's proven it. Like, no offense to Ole, like, I thought he actually did a pretty good job, but I don't know. Time to move on for United and
No, 100%. I just want to move on, get the season on. I'm interested to see how they'll play. You know,
they'll be better.
They've got some good young players coming through as well. Like Zidane Iqbal, who's the one that's actually.
I like that Hannibal too.
Hannibal and there's
Yes.
Garnacho. I can't pronounce his name. Like they've got some good young players coming through. So. I'm excited, and Martinez they signed from Ajax. I don't think he's going to be like an instant impact because he has to adapt from Eredivisie to Premier League, which is kind of tough. So,
how about the rumors when, which we all knew wasn't going to happen, but just the idea of Ronaldo being at PSG? You'd have Messi, Ronaldo, Neymar, Mbappe.
I would honestly hate that.
I would hate it too because. And honest to God, I still don't think PSG would win Champions League because I have this theory that when there's too many superstars on one team, they all cancel each other out. Like it's too much of a superstar team. But as a football fan, objectively, and who does not really care about PSG at all, no offense, I'd watch every single game.
Do you know, actually, just on PSG, so they got a new manager this year. I can't say his name, but they signed their first French player this summer in like 5 years.
Oh, wow.
The last one was Mbappe. Isn't that crazy? Just like the French team doesn't sign French players, but but having Ronaldo on that team, like I wonder how that would even work. Like I guess you would almost go two up top and
probably
Neymar and Messi on the wings, I suppose.
Someone
I don't really know because then also I guess Di Maria's gone. Like I don't know. That'd be such a good luck. Whoever's managing that team. So many egos with Ronaldo and Neymar. Like Messi and Mbappe seem like they're pretty regular folk. Yeah. But those two, like, how would you even deal with that? Also, the diving. Oh my goodness.
I'm so glad you brought it up. I love Brazil. Like you guys heard my first ever
Jogo Bonito football.
Honest to God. Brazil made me fall in love. Like Kaká was.
I mean, I love watching Brazilian highlights.
Like if we think about the Brazil teams, Ronaldinho. Who else was Pato, Dida,
Romario.
Yes, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, the most epic red card of life. Just so many players, right, that stand out. But you think about Neymar in the last World Cup, and it still breaks my heart because he like tainted his name for me a little.
Agree.
Yeah.
And I think that he's an incredible footballer with an immense amount of skill, but what he did, it's so unfortunate because we're diehard football fans, but for a casual fan watching the World Cup, which you know a casual fan is going to tune into a Brazil game, to see that, they turn the channel off because they're like, this is the shit that happens in football, and this is what the sport is soft. And we know that the sport is not soft. So what Neymar did really frustrated me because I'm like, it kind of tainted for the casual football fan who doesn't watch every single game and know everything.
The rolling around,
like they watch and they're like, what is this shit? And unfortunately, till this day, when people think Neymar, they think of that World Cup.
And I think a bad thing about it too was because that was the Brazil World Cup where that all happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, no, the rolling around actually was in 2018. Like
where was that one? I always forget.
Russia.
Yeah.
But it also happened in Brazil.
Probably a
lot,
few times.
And I think that didn't help his reputation.
I think it got worse in the 2018 World Cup.
Yeah, it probably did.
Yeah.
I think that's just what he does, right? But like to do that on a North American time as well, to like you see all these people who are like don't watch the game like we do, and they're like, oh, this guy's just literally flying around everywhere. And then he actually got really seriously hurt in that World Cup with his spine, right? And no one believed him.
No,
it's just like,
the
boy who cried wolf, but
it's so unfortunate. So I'm actually like really excited to see Neymar play in Qatar because I'm like hoping that it's just like this crazy skill show that we see from him that we know he has. He's so good. But I just pray. I pray that diving is eliminated as much as possible. And I also really blame the refs because if I was reffing a game and I saw that shit, I'd give a yellow so fast and I would not hesitate to give a second yellow or a straight red and say, get off the pitch because it ruins the sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was 2018 World Cup. I think it was a semifinal Brazil was in. I don't know, but he took a dive and he rolled like 8 different times and it became a meme as well. And it was just like
with the that one song.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. It was just him rolling. It's like, damn, man. Like he's got.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
Stay locked in for the mixtape.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was actually thinking about. I made a TikTok once about some of my favorite dives. And do you guys remember Vidal? Do you guys remember him?
Yeah, Arturo.
Yeah. He had one of the most epic dives of all time.
It's weird.
Or like it looked like he like chipped the way he did it, it was like he chipped the ground, but he jumped so high. The guy had mad athleticism. His vert was not normal, and he like rolled. And I'm just like, how did these guys? If I ever tried to do that, let's say to just like try and get away with like a PK, a penalty kick or something, I would probably injure myself.
Yeah, I would too.
Actually, it's a skill.
One time I took a dive in a game.
Oh, intentionally?
100%.
Yes. How did it go?
I got the penalty and we tied it.
Okay.
So what happened was we were playing this team and they were just losers. I won't get into too much detail, but they were like kicking us pretty hard and it just was getting a bit too intense. So I was kind of getting under this guy's skin, knowing what I was trying to do. So we had a throw in and this guy came behind me and he like pushed me. Like he definitely pushed me, but not very hard. And I fell like a sack of bricks. And I got the penalty and I just turned around and I just gave this big smile on my face.
Absolute masher.
Don't do that, kids. It was not good.
Now, when you got, let's say, in the moment when the ref called a penalty, when you got up, were you like immediately okay? Like they show on TV. Did you get like the magic spray and all that?
I didn't like flop down, like pretend to be hurt. I just exaggerated the push. And I got up and I was completely like,
did you make a noise?
No, I didn't make a noise. Yeah, very dramatic. And then I remember I waited for like a second, but the whistle was almost instant. Yeah. It was as if like the ref was almost wanting to give us it. And I got up and I smiled at this guy and he was so upset, but I didn't care because
let's all end on your favorite football story. And then hold on. So like personal one, playing.
Oh, okay. Playing.
So I'll let you think about it because I like that story from Liam. So I'm going to tell mine. We were in a provincial cup final. So it was Team Ontario. I don't even remember who we were playing. And we were winning 5-0. We were going to win. And there was, I think, 2 minutes left in the game. So I played holding center mid. So in our role, our goalie had the ball and it was a goal kick. So I was facing our goalie and all I was doing was touching and dropping my player. You do this so if you guys play football, you know where the player is. It's not a foul and it's very normal. And the girl kept slapping my hand down. I'm like, this chick's crazy. So I kept touching and dropping and she goes, stop effing touching me. When I tell you guys, I never had any smack talk game in my entire life. But for some reason, in that moment, I turned around and I said, what are you going to do about it?
Nice.
I don't know where that came from.
What are you going to do about it?
What are you going to do about it? So then I turned back to face the goalie. The goal kick happens and the ball goes over my head and I turn to face the ball and follow the ball. Mm-hmm. In that moment, this nut job absolutely headbutts me in the face.
Wow.
Headbutts me in the face.
What's going on?
Honest to God, my question did something to her. What are you going to do about it? She's like, yeah, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do about it. Headbutts me in the face. I go down. Worst moment of my life because immediately my eye swelled. I had a massive gash here. That's why I have stitches under my eye. And I couldn't see out of the eye because it was so swollen. So immediately I thought I lost my eye. So I'm on the ground and like there's so much blood, right? Because it's your face that happens. I'm like looking for my eye. And everyone's like, Caroline, like you're fine. Next
you were looking for your eye?
I heard that too. It's like,
oh my goodness.
So it was like traumatic for me because I'm like, I need that, right? Like
it's helpful.
A little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to lose an eye in a soccer match or a football match. So that was probably my most vivid memory. I went to the hospital. They put stitches in. They did a great job, and it's always been my wound to remind me of my days. But long story short, don't smack talk if you're not willing to
back it up.
Literally, not willing to get a little bit of a scar.
Yeah.
Okay, what's yours?
Well, there's no real happy memories, I guess you can say. They've all been kind of aggressive.
Oh my God, what?
Well, I don't get into fights. I mean,
who are you?
Liam and I play like Div 4 footy Sunday League. It gets kind of weird.
It's weird.
It was a couple years ago.
Wait, define weird. Like,
not really weird,
it's
but like
so aggressive.
Yeah,
I don't even play anymore. I just hated it.
Is it co-ed?
No,
it's just men's league. I play co-ed.
Some people get a little too heated, right? And I remember this one time. It was like 2020 before the pandemic. We're playing indoor footy, and Caroline, thank God you've never played indoor footy in the city. It can get pretty dumb.
Honest to God, I want to play now.
Let's
start a kickback team.
Yes,
where I'd be down. I'd rather play co-ed.
Every game for you.
We'll do co-ed. I don't want to play Heads up, sorry. Anyways, let me get my story. It was around 2020, January. I remember this. Our team was pretty brutal. We were losing like 8-2, I think. I can't remember the score. Maybe 8-2, 9-1. Anyways, it was like 10 seconds left in the game. I remember I was on the last shift of the game. I was running towards the ball, and for whatever reason, the opposing team's goalie was going after the ball. It was kind of going to the corner. I don't know what he was thinking, but like we both kind of collide. Not really collide. He kind of body checks me a little bit, going for the ball. My head obviously hits the board, and I get a little bit of a black eye and end up getting a concussion. But I'm just kind of thinking, like, why is this guy charging me when you're up 8-2? You're the goalie. He gets sent off. There's a bit of my team comes to protect me, and everyone's, like, kind of getting involved. The guy takes off his shirt. He's ready to throw down. He's got his wife beater. I'm like, what is happening? Like, it's 8-2. You don't have to take it that seriously. He gets sent off, which is great. And funny enough, the next time we ended up playing that team,
you fight him?
No, they didn't. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't even know if they had a vendetta on me. We had no interaction throughout the game, but there was a situation where like two guys kind of crunched me against the boards again, and they.
You have your bows up, Was?
No, I was just going for the. I don't know what happened.
You gotta put them up.
I don't even remember what happened. They kind of like just like boarded me again. I didn't get a concussion or injury this time, but the guy got sent off again. Like, how did I cause 2 red cards against the same team? Like, I had no beef with these guys.
So they got red cards.
Yeah.
Level heads, what's that
Prevailed.
Prevailed.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then
That's okay.
I remember my first
I don't think that's right.
I remember my first outdoor season as well. It was like a couple years ago, playing men's league, and some guys just seemed to not handle aggression well or just physicality. I remember I just did like a shoulder to shoulder with this guy. This guy went like he would grab me by the neck and was ready to kick my ass. I'm like, dude, I don't know what I did to you. I was just playing footy, man. It gets aggressive. It's physical.
You know what though, guys?
Grow a pair.
When I played the teams that like when I played for West Virginia, when we played Duquesne in the old Big East, or sorry, Marquette, that was like my favorite team to play because they were so dirty and I loved.
I kind of like those games
I didn't
too.
shit talk, but I loved even like running and getting blatantly fouled because it made me play better. And I started getting mad and I'm like, F these guys, like I'm about to go beast mode.
I used to shit talk a lot, and I feel like that's when I was.
Who's your line? Give me one line.
I would always like to just laugh in people's faces.
Yo, that's
being
actually
like,
that's
really,
savage.
you're gonna try and do something about this? And they would always be so much bigger than me, but it would almost like kind of bring them down a notch sometimes. And then I used to like kind of do a little skill around them or whatever it was, and then just kind of chirp them the whole way around. I thought it was funny, and just be honest, that was probably when I was actually good enough to chirp people. Now I wouldn't put myself. I was very quiet in my last couple of years.
Honest to God, like, okay, at some point, Kickback's gonna start a team, and we need to like be mic'd up.
I'll do it.
That'd be
if it's like you could do like here at Edmonton, like Edmonton Sports and Social, which would be fun.
Which is almost worse, but I won't get into that.
What I will say about indoor football is that I don't know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the energy of it, but I would slide tackle like a nut job in indoor football.
I used to do that too when I
refs would
first
come up to me
moved.
and they're like, Caroline, like there's no slide tagging. I'm like, I don't care.
Really?
Yeah, at least in Ontario.
Oh, we could do it here. You just
And I'm like-
burn your knees
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit.
terrible.
Minor problems. You deal with that later. But I don't know what it is about indoor football, but I felt like I was in the World Cup final.
Yeah.
Something comes over you
it's
where you're
a
just like,
different-
all right. And the boards add another element to it. But
So
I'm
they-
sorry
they-
that happened to you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a little concussion for a week, and
Process trauma. You, like
I'm
wakes
good.
up from nightmares.
You can never. Get to the
indoor
arena.
footy is really
Crush
fun
me.
though. It's really fun though. The intensity, it's like hockey almost. It's you can have like lines changes and like I think that's why people here in Canada actually like it a lot. 'Cause it's like hockey.
Bottom line, football's not soft.
No.
It's not. For those who play it and for those who know and for those who actually
I
consistently
think
watch it.
I
it's
think
not.
in the lower leagues it's a lot more physical.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I'm sure.
I think when you get to the higher levels, like a lot of the people who are actually diving around are almost just trying to get out of the way a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think some guys are definitely flying all over the
Oh,
field.
yeah,
And sometimes it's like, oh, there's no
100%.
contact. It's like, yeah, but if there was contact, that guy's ankle would be in next
Yeah.
week. Like he would be in a tough spot.
All right, guys, let's wrap episode 1 of Kicked Back. To everyone listening, to
Yeah.
everyone watching, it's kind of a preview of what we're doing twice a week, every single week. We love football. We love talking about it. We love having our opinions. Honest to God, I don't know about you guys. I could go for another 2 hours.
Probably.
There's so much to talk about, even in this off season. Players that went to different teams and
Yeah,
drama and everything. There's so much to talk about.
Just, I guess, to wrap it up, this is kind of what I like about football and soccer is that the off season is never boring. Like
Ever.
Liam and I, we do a lot of obviously hockey content with the Nation Network, and it's like we're kind of like in the dog days, as they say. Nothing's happening, but with football, soccer, there's something happening every day. Almost.
It's like a week.
Yeah.
Honest to God. Every day you wake up, I go on Twitter and someone's trending.
Yeah.
And it's for crazy shit. Like Ibrahimovic just won, the Scudetto with Serie A, and he had a torn ACL for 6 months. And I'm like, what the hell?
Well, the other day it was like with the Brighton player Marco Cucurella, however you say his name, Cucurella, and like Fabrizio Romano tweets, "Oh, it's official, he's going to Chelsea," and then Brighton tweets out, "Nah, man, no, he's still here."
That was a very rare L by Fabrizio.
That was
Yo,
a tough
he's
one.
my guy. Until Fabrizio tweets it, I'm like, I don't trust
I
him.
actually don't follow anybody else but him because I
Same.
don't trust anybody
Actually, a lot
else.
of people have been starting to call him out. They think he's like kind of a fraud.
Really?
He's trying to get heat now, yeah.
Oh,
And
well,
then,
I believe in you.
I
Still.
do too. If you're listening,
he's
Fabrizio,
like the
you're
tapping
welcome
merchant.
on the pod anytime to give the deets. You spill it here. But yeah, guys, we're going to be back here every Tuesday, every Thursday. We want this to be a nice football community, so let us know what you think, your hot takes, your opinions, and subscribe. Subscribe, and we're your football
like, comment. Don't forget to give the podcast a rating.
Yeah.
Because our friend Bag Milk always says that. Rate the podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we'll be back. All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning into episode 1, and we'll see you next week. Bye. That's a wrap for another episode of Kicked Back, and thanks so much for listening. You can catch Caroline and Liam here every single week on Tuesdays and Thursdays to give you the latest rundown on all things football. Please don't forget to subscribe and give us a nice 5-star rating. Please and thank you. And for even more Kicked Back content, follow the 90th Minute on all your favorite social channels. See you next time.